Algospeak by Adam Alexic. Have you ever noticed that different online platforms seem to have their own distinct accents? YouTube creators often speak with a rapid-fire delivery and minimal pauses, because any silence is an opportunity for a viewer to click away. TikTok creators, on the other hand, use exaggerated intonation and strategically stretch out words like and and "su" to keep you watching for just a few crucial seconds longer. This is no coincidence. These are adaptations, not just to human audiences, but to each platform's algorithm, the secret complex system that measures, prioritizes, and rewards user engagement. In this guide, we'll look at how these algorithms are quietly but powerfully reshaping the words we use and our very ways of speaking. From the words we invent to avoid censorship to the slang that goes viral overnight, we'll see how technology is reshaping human expression in ways we're only just starting to grasp. Our story begins in 2024 at the Seattle Museum of Pop Culture. An exhibition commemorating Kurt Cobain featured a moving photo of the iconic singer. But beneath it, a placard contained a jarring phrase, "Kurt Cobain unalived himself at 27. The backlash was immediate. Critics called the use of internet slang in such a solemn context deeply disrespectful. But this controversy reveals something deeper than just poor curatorial judgment. The term unalive didn't emerge organically from youth culture. It was born from an algorithm. The phrase became widely adopted around 2019 on platforms like TikTok, whose parent company is Chinese. As the Chinese government enforced censorship against violent words, users needed to develop creative alternatives for terms like kill or die to avoid their content being hidden or taken down. This is a perfect example of algospeak, language that is specifically designed to navigate or appeal to automated systems. This linguistic innovation spread rapidly, with Spanish-speaking youth even adopting desvivir, a creative play on the word for to live. We see a similar pattern with seggs as a substitute for sex. These coded alternatives then enter mainstream usage, with young people using them naturally, often unaware of their origins. Creators have developed an elaborate system of these workarounds. They discuss SAW instead of sexual assault, or ED for eating disorders, to avoid triggering content warnings. Visual codes have also emerged. The corn emoji can serve as a substitute for porn based on phonetic similarity. This has created a perpetual game of cat and mouse. As platforms update their moderation algorithms to recognize new terms, creators must constantly innovate to stay ahead. But social media algorithms do much more than just moderate content. They also recommend it. Before, roughly 2004, the internet was fundamentally decentralized. Language and slang grew organically in smaller communities like message boards and forums. The next wave brought massive platforms like Facebook and YouTube, which allowed new terms to spread faster than ever. Even then, these early platforms often used relatively simple, transparent systems. Early Reddit, for example, had a straightforward ranking system. Posts were ordered by upvotes minus downvotes. The author, an early Reddit user, learned to work this system, experimenting with timing and content to successfully become one of the platform's top users. But something changed around 2017. Reddit and other platforms abandoned their simple ranking systems in favor of opaque, machine learning-driven, personalized content recommendations. Now, each platform guards its own secret proprietary algorithm that determines what users see. This left content creators guessing how to reach their audiences, and it created an environment where one algorithm leads the pack when it comes to user retention and influence. TikTok. TikTok's algorithm represents a quantum leap in content recommendation. Users often report the uncanny experience of the app seeming to read their minds, anticipating their interests before they're even aware of them. The platform's success depends on its ability to track user behavior with remarkable precision. This creates powerful incentives for linguistic trends. When a new slang term emerges, users who engage with it trigger the algorithm to suggest more content featuring that same term. This in turn incentivizes creators to jump on the trend to boost their visibility. To understand how this works, it helps to think of language itself as a kind of virus. This idea was first proposed by biologist Richard Dawkins, who coined the term meme in 1976. He argued that units of culture, Ideas, behaviors, or words spread from person to person through imitation, much like genes replicate through biological evolution. When you encounter a new word, it's like being exposed to a pathogen. You either reject it or you incorporate it into your vocabulary and become a host who can transmit it to others. So, what are the evolutionary pressures that shape which words survive and thrive in this environment? Social cachet is one. People embrace new language because it feels trendy or signals membership in a particular group. Young people might say someone is serving, meaning they look amazing, to signal their cultural awareness, but this coolness factor is often short-lived. Consider the word bae, which exploded in popularity in 2013 but quickly became outdated. Novelty is another factor. Attention-grabbing terms can achieve rapid initial spread but burn out quickly. Recent general alpha examples like gyat and skibbity generated immediate notice but lacked staying power. For long-term survival, a word needs what linguists call an endurance factor. Often, this means it fills a semantic gap in the language. The expression side-eye, for example, provides a precise and useful term for a common but previously unlabeled behavior. The word Rizz, short for charisma, exemplifies how a modern term survives and thrives with the help of an algorithm. Emerging in 2023, Rizz spread rapidly through TikTok's powerful recommendation engine. Its viral explosion reached a peak in October 2023 with the Rizzler song, a track that cleverly crammed multiple trending general alpha slang terms like Rizz, Sigma, and Skibbity into deliberately nonsensical lyrics. The song's huge success created a new kind of feedback loop. Packing trending keywords into the song helped the video go viral. But the video's virality then further entrenched those very terms in popular usage. It was a new high watermark in the trend of content designed as much for the algorithm as for any human audience. The reach of these trends is staggering. Surveys now reveal that 80% of U.S. parents have heard the word Rizz, demonstrating how platform-specific slang penetrates mainstream culture with unprecedented speed. Increasingly, algorithms don't just spread language change, they actively shape it. While goofy new slang terms might seem harmless, there's more at stake. These powerful algorithms have some serious, unintended consequences. Back in 2010, a study of New York Times articles discovered a troubling pattern. The more emotionally charged a piece of content was, the more likely it would be shared. It didn't matter if the emotion was positive or negative. All that mattered was its intensity. This emotional amplification is a fundamental bias in nearly every social media algorithm, and it damages the quality of public discourse. News outlets and creators, recognizing that extreme reactions drive engagement, now craft messaging to provoke rather than inform. Terms like slammed or destroyed replace neutral verbs like criticized. Nuance gives way to sensationalism, and thoughtful voices are drowned out by the most polarizing ones. Another troubling dynamic is the effect these algorithms are having on our brains. Social media is a relentless competition for attention. The result is an escalating arms race toward increasingly hyper-stimulating content, as creators must constantly outdo one another to break through the noise. This constant barrage is fragmenting our collective attention span, making it harder for all of us to focus on sustained tasks. Finally, there is a growing threat to language diversity itself. Current projections suggest that nearly half of the world's 7,000 languages will disappear within this century. Digital platforms accelerate this process by supporting only a tiny fraction of them. Google's services support merely 240 languages, while YouTube accommodates just 80. This forces speakers of less common languages into a difficult choice: participate in global digital communication in a dominant language, or risk having their own language fade into obscurity. The main takeaway from Algospeak is that algorithms are quietly but profoundly reshaping human language. Content moderation and recommendation engines now actively shape which words, phrases, and ideas survive and thrive. From TikTok's Unalive to the viral spread of Rizz, we're witnessing language evolution at an unprecedented and accelerating speed. These algorithmic forces are fragmenting our attention, privileging emotionally extreme content, and threatening linguistic diversity worldwide. The future of human expression may depend on our ability to recognize and respond to these powerful new forces.